Madam Chair, my amendment, which is number 24, is pro-family, pro-children, and pro-mom. It guarantees that this bill will not take away nutrition benefits for moms and hungry kids in the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for Women, Infants, and Children, or WIC. Federal nutrition programs like WIC and SNAP and school meals are investments in the health, learning, and development of children and young adults in communities across the country and are some of the most successful tools we have for reducing child hunger. These nutrition programs have been associated with improved educational outcomes and reduced food insecurity, which is especially important for children from low-income and food-insecure families. And it's widely known that WIC contributes to healthier births, nutritious diets, and improved infant feeding practices, better health care for children, and higher academic achievement. The benefits are indisputable. So WIC has served as a lifeline for many mothers and their young children, and I urge my colleagues to support my amendment. I would now like to make a few comments on amendments that I am either co-sponsoring or supporting. There is one by Ranking Member Bobby Scott to protect American children from going hungry with regard to the proposed cuts to SNAP. Yesterday, the Urban Institute released a new report highlighting that as many as 18.3 million children could lose access to free school meals as a result of the harmful provisions in this bill. And we know that every congressional district has children who are hungry. Families are working hard, but the income isn't keeping up with the cost. So I hope we can adopt Mr. Scott's amendment number 184. I also want to speak in support of a amendment that is going to be introduced or has been introduced by Representative Sykes to strike the language in the bill that cuts Medicaid. In Oregon, 1 in 3 people are covered by Medicaid, including 57% of Oregon children, and make no mistake, if you rip away health care from millions of Americans, people will die. Rural hospitals will close, cancer patients will go without treatment, and I will support this amendment, and proud to support this amendment. I also want to raise an issue in the amendment that is introduced by Representative Rivas, number 215. This is an amendment that will fix a catastrophic policy that's tucked quietly into this bill that would let the world's most powerful technology go unchecked for the next decade. This is a blank check for big tech. It would, and the bill as written will block state and local governments from regulating artificial intelligence for 10 years. That is a long time. That is a decade of risk. Let's be clear, we do not have federal policies or governance laws on data privacy, security, and bias. And I served on the bipartisan House AI task force, and we spent a long time studying these issues. And our report that was signed by both Republicans and Democrats explicitly warns against blanket and impulsive federal preemption of state AI policy. And I quote, "Without comprehensive federal AI or data privacy laws, states are well positioned to address gaps, tailor protections, and respond to emerging harms." But this bill ignores that bipartisan advice. Yesterday, 40 state attorneys general, including Oregon's Dan Rayfield, sent a bipartisan letter opposing this provision because of the unchecked harm it will cause. And let's talk about what that could look like. An algorithm that denies a disabled person access to housing and no state agency could intervene. A company that designs generative AI to imitate voices or faces without consent. States couldn't stop it. A hiring platform that discriminates by race or gender. Under this bill, if a company deliberately designs an algorithm that causes foreseeable harm, they'd be legally unaccountable, and it would leave policymakers and the public flying blind as a handful of corporations consolidate power over rapidly advancing technology. And I'm not talking about machines. I'm talking about civil rights, consumer safety, child protection, elections, employment, and more. The House AI Task Force made it clear we should empower good AI policy at the state level, not block it. This amendment strikes the provision and gets government out of the way so states can protect their people. Let's test whether Congress stands with the public or with the powerful. I also have a few bills I want to mention that, or excuse me, a few amendments that I'm co-sponsoring. One by Mr. Byer to keep energy costs low by taking two of the most successful energy policies in history, the production tax credit and the investment tax credit, protecting those. Also, Mr. Byer's amendment protecting bipartisan clean energy tax credits. I also want to support, be on record as supporting Ranking Member Bobby Scott's amendment number 261 that makes it harder for students, strikes the language that makes it harder for students to access high-quality education. And one more, Madam Chair, with your indulgence, I want to support the amendment by my Oregon colleague, Representative Bynum, that ensures the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau retains current funding for protecting student borrowers.